right, well, welcome to the August 18th SORTA board meeting. Thanks for everyone attending. Let's go ahead and call to order and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God. Get distracted by everyone looking at their flags. Hearings from citizens, we had no comments posted, so we'll have to monitor Facebook and respond to those any comments after the meeting. Really, I guess kind of quiet month as we continue to get ready for the transition of the county and just move. Back to normal. I think, Daryl, you'll kind of update us a little bit on CPS. Do you want to do that now, or do you want to do that?
Yeah, I can do it now. As it stands right now, CPS is going to make a decision on September 15th. They have decided to stay virtual at the beginning of the school year. They're planning right now to go back on September 28th, but that final decision won't be made until September 15th. So under normal conditions, school would go back in session, and we would start running service about the 24th of August. But as it stands right now, the target date is September 28th.
Okay. So I know we got a notice for other schools that aren't CPS that rely on bus service. They're not going to have it until that same time.
That is correct. There will be no extra service run during that period. So those schools that are the private schools that are going back, those students, if they need to ride the bus, will have to ride our regular service.
Or have their parents drive.
Correct.
Okay. Any questions on that for anybody?
I have questions on the bus service totally. I've been talking to people that are going to say they've been talking to me, people who are blind and who have other physical and emotional conditions. They want to know when will it be in their minds or in SORTA's mind when it's going to be safe for them to be able to use the bus. And they're talking about people who are blind are worried about touching things that other people have left germs on, and people who are they're not visually impaired, but they're worried about who's going to help them on the bus get access. When is it going to start operating? They have those kinds of questions. And what can I say to them, or where can I tell them to go to get the answer?
To tell them to call the customer service department. We are running full service now. That's both on fixed route and on access. We spray all of our buses with an agent that kills COVID-19. We require masks on our buses. Our buses are safe to ride right now. If they have questions and they want some detailed questions, have them call up customer service. I'll send you a phone number over, and we'll post it up on our website for people with questions that they can call.
That's great, because I use the bus all the time, and I feel safe, and I wear my mask, so I'm not spreading anything either. So, great job.
Thank you.
And the drivers are nice.
And the access is full service right now too, as well. Right there. So.
That is correct.
I will let them know.
Okay, thank you. Okay, action items. We have two sets of minutes to approve. We need to do that individually, Chanel. Okay, so you had in your board books the minutes from the July 21st meeting and the July 29th meetings. I would move that we accept these.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion. Do you have a question? All right. Motion probably moved in second. Question. Chanel.
Patty is on yet, but Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Hoffmeister,
Yes.
Mr. Cassie,
Yes.
Mr. McLendon,
Yes.
Ms. Robinson.
Yes.
And
I'm a yes. Okay. Is Heidi on yet?
no, she's not on yet.
Why don't we go to planning ops then, or policy committee? They're both for you, Glenn. You're on mute.
Ready for the policy meeting? Okay. Just briefly, as a result of the Metro buses being used by law enforcement, as we all know, the president commissioned a policy committee, and I really want to thank Heidi and Blake and Pete and Mary and Kathy for their diligence and making our meetings and bringing added value to our conversations and recommendations. Daryl, I want to thank you and TJ for the work that you did. And so we did find out, we did gain some information, and we did come up with some recommendations. So I'll turn it over to Daryl to share those recommendations and any updates that we did approve.
So prior to this committee meeting, we did not have an SOP. Currently, we reached out to 16 transit agencies to see what their policies were. None of them also had policy. There was one that just had their charter policy. So we put together an SOP. It's our SOP 34. It identified the acceptable use of rolling stock, and that is by Hamilton County Emergency Management, Fire Department, and law enforcement. It prohibits the use of Metro buses to transport detainees. It defines the process for how buses can be requested, with documentation and whatnot for the organization and what the required documentation is. We already had a charter service procedure as required by the FTA. We reviewed and updated that. In summary, regarding the use of Metro buses, it can be used as a result of disasters, community requests, and curfews. Staff contacted the Hamilton County Emergency Management Agency and confirmed the following. Buses would never be commandeered. Buses would only be used for major events such as national disasters. And even in those events, a private vendor is preferred due to availability. The recent events, because of COVID-19, most of the private carriers, private bus companies were shut down and didn't have employees to actually drive the buses. So during this period, it was a little different, but private vendor is preferred. We have a seat at the Emergency Operations Center, which we will coordinate how and when Metro buses are used. Mike Wild has a seat at that table. And operations during a curfew would be directed by the authority having jurisdiction. However, employee safety and security will be paramount in the event of curfews, of when there is stopping service or there are detours around the curfews. And that's pretty much a general overview of what the committee agreed to.
Thank you, Daryl. Any committee member or any of the members like to ask any questions or have any need clarifications? Nadia, speak now or forever hold your peace. And you too, Pete and Blake. Okay, are we comfortable with our updates and our recommendations, our presentation? Okay.
There's not an action item for the.
No action item at this time. And because of that, the committee will not meet again unless we are commissioned to come back together for extenuating situations or to make or come up with an action item. But as of now, our work I feel is completed.
happy to send out the procedure to all the board members so you all can review it. And if you have any questions or comments on it, please send them back to me.
I think that'd be great. And I think it also, am I interpreting this right, that because we have an SOP, there's no requirement to go to the board when these situations come up unless there's something that hasn't been contemplated, correct?
Right, correct. That was a question that I had asked, and that's the answer that I got.
Make sure we're all comfortable. I think that makes sense, right? That's why you have SOPs.
Right. So, Craig, is there anything additional you would like for the committee to do, or have we completed our assignment?
Well, it sounds like you completed your assignment. Thank you.
Okay, and again, thank the committee for their work in attending the meetings. And Daryl, of course, thank you and TJ for the work that you did.
My pleasure.
That concludes my report. I
think when you also you chaired the Planning and Ops Committee, is that what?
Yes, I did. and Brendan didn't show up, so I did. So let's have staff. Let's have staff give out that report as well. It wasn't an extensive committee, assignment. So I think we might as well move forward with John's report.
Thank you, Gwen. Happy to share what we talked about in planning and ops. First thing we did was shine a spotlight on access and the pleasure that we have and the privilege that we have in serving the disabled community. July of this year marked the 30-year anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. And we had employees and a board member, Mr. Harris, part of some honk and wave events where we were out there with signs on an access bus out at Hamilton County DDS, and then another day down at Government Square, just spreading the news of the 30-year anniversary, waving at motorists, metro buses, access buses that went by. So we're very happy to shine a spotlight on that in the committee meeting. We also celebrated the OPTA Awards, recently awarded to Fleet Facilities Director Jeff Munstock as part of the 4 Under 40 program in OPTA. OPTA also recognized the community impact of operator Antonio McClendon and his act of bravery and quick thinking earlier this year. OPTA also recognized 2 milestone winners at SORTA, employee Reginald Brown and retired operator Stephen Rolfus for their 30 years of operating a bus without a preventable accident. We also welcomed new Director of Transit Operations, David Braun. David has more than 30 years of experience in the industry, including stints at 4 separate transit systems where he served as a general manager, including Tank. And we also celebrated some recent retirees. So that was the news we shared. And the good news, we do have one action item for the board today. We're seeking approval of a resolution for a 3-year contract with Graybach for the garage door replacement at the RTC, so underneath the Freedom Center, that garage door there, at a total cost not to exceed $233,000. That includes a 10% contingency, and all of the funds for the project will come out of the RTC fund.
So I guess we need a motion there.
I have a question, if I may, real quick. When I was going over the materials here, it says for garage door, and it's $200,000+. And the description seems like there's more work going on than that. And could you just describe real quick to the board all the work that's going on? There's like language about removing a wall and doing masonry work. I'm just trying to understand $200,000.
Absolutely. To call it a garage door does not do the project justice. It is a massive structure that involves erosion and degrading materials and support structures around the door. So your masonry walls, all of the support element around that door, as it's literally underneath 2nd Street, and the Freedom Center, several stories tall. It is a huge project. We commissioned an engineering firm to actually lay out the work and come up with a cost estimate. So we call it a garage door. It's quite a massive project there with all sorts of support elements, parts of the material there, the door itself, and all the support structure around it eroded over time due to some water issues in RTC coming down from 2nd Street. It's kind of draining issues we've been dealing with. So yes, garage door does not do it justice. It is quite a massive structure there that goes into a loading dock underneath 2nd Street.
And another thing to be clear, this is not being funded by SORTA. This is being funded by the RTC funds, which belong to the city of Cincinnati.
Thank you.
I'll have a couple questions too. So one would be, did this damage happen faster than would have been expected here? Or do we have warranty issues or anything like that? Or is this just normal wear and tear?
It's due to the leakage in the Riverfront Transit Center that caused the damage. For those that have been down in the Riverfront Transit Center, the actual brick, the concrete, has even eroded from it. It's not normal wear and tear. It is because of some of the challenges the RTC has had over the years and some of the leakage down in the Riverfront Transit Center.
Okay, but due to weather and things, not due to anything that the original installation was not.
That's correct.
And then I want to make sure I got this right. Sorry, go ahead.
But the original installation, some of the challenges they had with the original building of the RTC that caused some of that leakage down there is what has caused this.
Okay. And let me read this correct. We issued invitations to bid to 113 folks and got 2 responses.
That's correct, yes.
It seems like this is happening to us a lot. Is that what we would normally expect, or are folks not believing we're good to work with, or what do we think is happening?
One of the things, Craig, we're going to do on some of these larger projects moving forward is we're going to start having some pre-bid meetings, and we're going to start inviting vendors to come in and sit down and talk to us. One of the things that we've started doing recently is when we send out bids and we don't get very many responses, we've actually been calling vendors, asking them why they haven't responded. What we've heard through the last 6 or 8 months is that a lot of people don't have the personnel to do some of this work because of COVID right now. But we are going to start having some pre-bid meetings for some of these larger projects. We're going to continue to reach out to find out, because it is something that we have heard over time. Some of these projects, there are very few people that bid on our projects, so we will get to the bottom of this.
Can I make a comment here, Craig? And thank you for bringing it, because I have raised it consistently, and even during this committee meeting. There are companies that are affected by COVID, but I also note a lot of the companies are combining their workforce to do these projects, and so there is some creative movement on some of the companies to be able to bid on these contracts. What I would like to do is, and I've asked Daryl about it, is to look at our process to find out, because when I see us sending out bids, there's something wrong with that as well. Because if you do a public disclosure or for RFQs or RFPs, then it's more people that are seeing it, not just us. It sounds like we're inviting certain people opposed to opening it up. And I get a lot of calls on this, and I've spoken with Daryl about it, and so I really think we need to concentrate on how this is being done.
We also post our large proposals on our website as well, and encourage our vendors to go out to our website and see what we have out there. But yes, we are looking into this.
Yeah, okay.
Question, this is Robert. How are we doing with our minority vendors? Are they participating in these bids? Are they successful, unsuccessful? where do we stand?
We'll put together a briefing item for the group, and we'll bring it to the Planning and Operations Committee, and we'll do an overall briefing on disadvantaged businesses for you all.
Thank you.
I think, Robert, that's kind of what I was trying to get to. It seems like we issue lots of folks that we don't very often seem to be getting
Right.
minority contractors or vendors bidding, and that seems unusual to me. And I know I've heard different times that there's a perspective that sometimes we go with the folks we've always worked with before, and that makes it harder to make changes. So I'd like to Gwen's point, we could have kind of a conversation with that in mind.
Thank you. It's long overdue. We need to be aggressive about it. Not, not now when. So now is the time. Thank you. Is there a motion to accept the bid?
I was looking for you to do that.
I'm doing it.
Okay. Motion moved. Anybody second it?
Second.
Second.
Motion properly moved and seconded twice. Chanel?
Okay, Mr. Black,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Etheridge,
Yes.
Mr. Hinton,
Yes.
Mr. Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Hoffmeister,
Yes.
Mr. Cassidy,
Yes.
Mr. McLendon,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Robinson.
Yes.
The motion, it's been approved.
All right, thanks. Anything else from Planning and Ops?
No, that's the only action item we have.
Okay. We go back up the agenda. Heidi, welcome.
Good morning. I apologize for being late this morning. It's been a crazy day. We had a great finance committee meeting last week. Not a lot of new business other than we do have one item on the consent agenda today, which is around the revenue contract with Cincinnati State. This is our regular revenue contract with them. I believe it partially subsidizes students who are Cincinnati State students. The biggest thing that I just want to note is that because of COVID, Cincinnati State has reduced the number of classes they're holding physically in person to only 30% of their classes. And so you see that reflected in that the value of this revenue contract was cut in half from about $62,000 in last year to $31,000 this year. Michelle, is there anything else you would want to add?
Just that this is just a one-year contract, and as COVID-19 continues to play out through the next year, we'll reevaluate, and they're well aware that as students go back full-time, that we would reevaluate this back to previous contract amount.
That's all I've got for you today. Craig, would you like me to make a motion?
I would like you to make a motion.
Okay. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the revenue agreement with Cincinnati State.
Second.
All right, we got that with it. So motion properly moved and seconded. Any questions on this one? No. Okay, Chanel?
Ms. Robinson,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. McLendon,
Yes.
Mr. Cassidy,
Yes.
Mr. Hoffmeister,
Yes.
Mr. Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Hinton,
Yes.
Mr. Etheridge,
Yes.
Finance.
It's another great meeting,
All right.
and I continue to appreciate everything that Michelle and her team are doing to make sure that Metro is working efficiently and effectively with the funds we have.
All right. Terrific. With that, Michelle, you want to take us through the next group?
Yes. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Craig. Behind tab 4, you will find a financial report for the 7 months ending July 31st. Total revenue of $8 million was unfavorable to budget by $158,000 or 2%. Total expense of $8.5 million was favorable to budget by $93,000 or 1%. The deficit for the month before using the CARES funds to balance was $486,000. The funds from the CARES Act of $4,070,000 were used to balance the operating results in July and to replenish our reserves in prior year surplus that were used to balance operating results before we received the CARES funds. Total operating results before balancing with available funds was unfavorable by $65,000 for the month and unfavorable by $3,329,000 year to date. Some of the most significant factors driving the results for July was fair revenue was unfavorable to budget by $676,000 or 47%. Metro fair revenue was unfavorable to budget by $616,000 as a result of a 46% fixed route regular ridership decline directly related to COVID-19. Non-transportation revenue was unfavorable to budget by $106,000 or 61%, primarily due to investment income of $33,000 and advertising income of $58,000 unfavorable. Other contract revenue was unfavorable to budget by $54,000 or 32%, primarily due to the Butler County route being temporarily suspended at the request of Butler County. Transit fund was favorable to budget by $681,000 or 13.4% as a result of the change in the city funding requests for the start of their fiscal year, which began in July. Any questions on the financial report for the month ending July 31st?
This feels kind of a lot better than the previous month, right?
I would agree. I think the CARES funds helps us tremendously.
And we continue to watch our expenses during this period to assure that we are being very good stewards of taxpayers' dollars.
Terrific. Any questions from Michelle on that? Okay. Daryl.
I just have a couple of things today. I want to thank John for spotlighting our employees that received OPTA awards this year. We got 4 OPTA awards this year. It's fantastic. Because of COVID-19, there wasn't the big ceremony in Columbus that usually happens. OPTA actually came down to Metro, and we went out to the garage and had an event at the garage to honor these 4 SORTA employees. So congratulations to them. And I've got some news hot off the press. The OTP2 grant awards have recently been announced, and I'm happy to say that SORTA received $3.26 million in those awards. We got $480,000 for some planning dollars. We got $2 million for some systems, so we will be able to complete our Wi-Fi on our entire fleet, as well as update our camera systems. And we also got $780,000 for some alternative fuel infrastructure dollars. So we've got some alternative fuels coming within the next year and a half, as well as Wi-Fi on all of our buses with a camera update. And as we move forward with reinventing Metro, we've got some planning dollars, so we won't have to spend as much local dollars to accomplish that. So congratulations to the grants team here and all of those that worked on that to find to get the ability to bring that extra $3.2 million in. That concludes my report, unless you all have any questions.
Can you tell
Great
me
news.
More about the alternative fuels? Oh, I'm sorry.
So we've got a few things working on alternative fuels. One, we actually have run lines to the Northside Transit Center for electricity there. So that's both to electrify charging of buses and to electrify charging of cars. So even in the park and ride, we can actually put cars. We're also looking at working with Duke and some others to find dollars to actually do infrastructure in our garages for electric vehicles as well. So these dollars can be used for local match to match some of the federal dollars that we're applying for electric buses or any other type of alternative fuel that will be aggressively going after in the next year. So this is pretty big for us because we can use these state dollars as local match against the federal dollars. That answer your question?
That's great news. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sure.
It is.
I think that might be worthwhile to go over at some point, because we talked about different things, right? Gas, different things, hybrid vehicles, and what kind of what that path forward is. Would probably use for the boards.
Okay. And I do want to take my hat off to the team here at Metro that worked on these grants. Last year's OTP2, we received 5% of the total grant dollars available to the state of Ohio. This year we received 11% of the total grant dollars available in the state of Ohio. So the team is working really hard and being really successful in our grant writing and the projects that we're putting forward. So congratulations to the team here.
So we look forward to getting 15% next year.
That's an important.
And just to put that in a little bit of perspective, last year, the Ohio Department of Transportation awarded almost $44 million in grants. This year, they only awarded $30 million in grants, and we actually received just under an additional $1 million versus last year. So, at a time where there's less funds available, we received more.
Yeah, terrific. And I guess, Daryl, question, I know we talked about potentially, using that as a revenue generator, whatever. We could use some of this infrastructure to support other agencies. Are we still having those discussions?
We are definitely having those discussions. We have a group getting together, all of the providers of the paratransit community, meeting here real soon, and we're going to start really digging in to how we can do paratransit better in the region. We'll be doing a briefing next month on the empowerment fund, on reinventing Metro, to catch the board up on exactly where we are in the timing of fare simplification, all of that in September.
How are we doing getting the word out about what our successes? Are we doing well on that in terms of working with the news?
Absolutely. The last few months has been really successful in what we've been able to get out in the news media, in the newspaper, of course, social media. We flood social media with all the good news that we're having, and we've got some pretty big things in the near future too that we're really excited about. So there's more good news coming.
Thank you.
And with that in mind, I think September is going to be a pretty busy meeting, right? It's our last one before the funding source changes. Reinventing Metro updates, the integrated committee updates, the sort of board discussions. I think it may take longer than an hour, and I would love for us to try to be back all together for that one. So I'm going to ask that we continue to look for ways to maybe get everybody on site so that we can really have a more robust meeting with a lot of big issues out there on the table.
Is that one that we could do it? Well, if we can't do it at the new SORTA offices, could we do that at City Hall since it's our last meeting before the transition? They have that big, maybe we could do it in council chambers like some of you did the last time.
We'll find a way. We'll do everything we can to find a way for us to be together for our September meeting.
Also, as we do that, can we make sure that we send out maybe a special invitation to those folks especially who are blind or have a disability, who use our services, who really want to be involved, who really want to be visible, and I will be more than happy to help pull that together.
We'll have to be real careful with the number of people that come to an event because of COVID-19, but I'll reach out to you and we'll see how we can involve maybe a smaller number, but encourage people to join via Facebook and send messages and comments and whatnot.
That'll work. Thank you.
That would be my support, that we not open it up to the public, that we do have other venues for them. Yeah, thank you.
Well, I understand. I just know that we're missing a group of people that are constantly left out, and I want to make sure that they have some feeling in some way to know that they're not being left out. That's all.
Well, I'll reach out to you. We'll have a conversation, but we'll assure that we're extremely safe as we move forward.
Thank you.
Craig,
Yes, ma'am.
I also need to update you on the status of the meetings for the next couple months. The September 8th committee meetings, because it's the day after Labor Day and the week before that's a short week, we will not be doing financial reports at the committee meetings. Instead, we'll do it at the September 15th board meeting.
Okay.
In October, we had agreed to combine both committee and board meetings into the same day because of APTA. Usually, some of you are attending the APTA annual meeting. That has been canceled. So we will go back to meeting in October, if everyone's okay with this, on the 13th for committees and the 20th for the board.
I think that makes sense. The reason for the change has gone away. Yep.
Okay, just wanted to make sure everybody was aware. Chanel will get.
What are the times?
Please,
Are the
Gwen.
times the same, the night?
Yes.
The times are they still going to be 10 o'clock?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And Chanel will get notice to all of you. Okay.
I think for the September meeting, we may want to start a little earlier if it goes. I think there's going to be more than an hour's worth of material.
Okay. You want to start at 9 instead of 10?
I would suggest that. Maybe plan for 2 hours.
For the board meeting itself.
Is that
Okay.
okay? Everyone?
I'll have Chanel check with everyone to make sure we can get a quorum. Will that work?
Works for me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, busy month. Thanks, Daryl and team. Seems like we continue to manage well through this COVID situation, which I know is fluid, but appreciate it. And I know we continue to do everything we can to keep our operators and associates safe. I know we've had some reports along the way of folks getting testing positive. Most of those we don't believe, again, are from the buses, right? They're from outside activities. You're on mute, but I think you said yes, that's correct.
Yes, that's correct. I hit the wrong button. That is correct.
Yeah, so we continue to do what we can and pay attention to that and contact trace and such, but, so far so good. Okay. Any questions or new business?
Hey, good morning. This is Mo, but just wanted to give an update. I know a couple of weeks ago, Pete and myself attended the ATU union meeting, and there was a lot of questions, concerns, but more so we just provided them some understanding of who we were, and as board members, we were fielding questions of who everyone else is. So I would just make a suggestion, that we all get out and try to talk to our partners in this organization that we're overseeing. They have some real serious concerns and just some general questions of who and what board members do. There's a lot of new employees and operators out there that just don't have that understanding, and they would like to hear from us. I know early on in the Metro Moves, we did presentations for the general public, And I think we should do those type of presentations for the workforce as well. I contacted several of their concerns were, the temperature reading and why that wasn't happening on site. And they had some general questions about the CARES Act funds. So, maybe some of you all could schedule some time to go out, introduce yourself, let them know how you got there, as we were asked how we got here as board members. And just spend some time and update the individuals, let them know who's making decisions that eventually and sometimes impacts their livelihood and their families.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a good idea. We'll have to figure out ways to make them easier to do. That is,
No, I'm just gonna. Is there like is there really have a formal? I think that's what you're talking about, Craig. That is there a formal process to do this, or is it just you do it on your own, or to meet with folks?
I think we got to make it a formal process.
Okay.
So Darryl, we can talk about how to do that, and certainly it's tricky because you have to find ways we can get to a number of the board or the HE members and things like that. So I think we can find times to do it.
Several of the board meetings when we have, and COVID-19 again has caused some challenges with this, but as we have award ceremonies and celebrations and whatnot at the garage, there are several of the board members that have come out to those events and have spent time talking to the employees, and the employees really appreciate it. So for those that have come out and spent time with the employees, thank you. But we'll set some processes up that the board members can make sure they can get out and talk to the employees.
I totally agree, and I have found that to be true. And the fact that I ride the bus constantly helps a lot. They say, "Oh, we know who you are." I say, "Great," and I'm there for you as well as with you, and it works. So keep on keeping on. Thank you.
Perfect. Anybody else? Okay. Well, fairly quick meeting today. Like I said, I think the next one will be a little bit longer as we continue to make the transition to our new funding sources, and appreciate everybody's hard work. That I will move to adjourn. Thanks.